AC Milan, Brooklyn Nets. What do they have in common?
Different sports, different countries. But the one thing is you have owners trying to, you know, you always mention the bomber effect, right? The huge premium, the $2 billion.
For
They're trying to capture the bomber effect, but not sell the whole team. They want to maintain control, sell a non-controlling interest at a fat premium.
All right, so if I'm an investor, I got a stack of cash. Why would I want to do that? I ask you that question every time.
Well, you know, let's start with soccer. You know, if you look at AC Milan, it's an iconic franchise. It's a very well-known brand outside of Italy. They're well-known in Asia, well-known in the United States. They have a lot of trophies to their credit. But the last few years, it seems like the owner, Silvio Berlusconi, he's been supporting the team with his own money. It's been losing money to pay that top dollar for the best players. He's kind of tired of doing that. Those new fair play rules you and I have talked about are kind of preventing him too. So he's looking for $1 billion valuation. Now, I think the problem with that, Bob, is the stadium they play in is old. It doesn't have the amenities of the modern stadium. It doesn't draw particularly well. So he's been having trouble doing that.
So basically, he does not want to write the check for that new stadium. He wants to get a minority investor to help him.
But, you know, I gave him your number. I said, Bob's got a big wallet. I said, he'll give you a, $1 billion valuation for a minority.
Around,
I think the upshot of that is, you know, the team is probably worth about $850 million. And I think at the end of the day, that's the price he's going to get.
You mentioned they have trophies. They haven't been winning lately, though. Has that hurt the team?
That's a big problem because in Italy, your domestic TV rights, a big portion of that depends on where you finish in the Serie A league, and they haven't done that well lately. And also that Champions League, which is the European soccer tournament, they missed that this year. So that means next year they're not going to get that Champions League check. So it kind of can almost start a vicious cycle where you get less money coming in, you can't afford the same star players, you don't do as well, and around the cycle goes. That's why I think, you know, there's a little urgency here where unless Mr. Berlusconi wants to keep pumping in a lot of money, he's going to have to take a lower valuation.
And that is a perfect segue into the similarities between AC Milan and the Brooklyn Nets. Mikhail Prokhorov is looking for somebody to come in and do the same thing.
Yeah, the word is that he's looking for a $3 billion valuation, and he only wants to sell 49%. So say he wants $1.5 billion for a little less than half the team, and he's not getting any takers on that because the Nets lose a lot of money. They have a high payroll. That's part of the problem. So if you go in and you buy that, if you're a minority investor, you can also have to put some money in the next 2 years on top of your price, and I think that's the drawback there.
That's not only the team, that's also part of Barclays Center, the operating rights, the arena rights.
Right, no, that's a great point.
Is that a moneymaker, though?
Great arena, but when you package the team in the arena, it's still a loss.
All right, so a minority stake in that team and no controlling rights, so Prokhorov would still run the show.
Absolutely, and Ratner would be out. Right now, Ratner owns 55% of Barclays and 20% of the team. The problem, too, is I think there's a little uncertainty there. And what I mean is, you know, the Islanders are starting to play there next season, but it's only a 3-year lease. So if somebody's going in to buy and you're saying, okay, you know, it's great to have those 42 days filled in with a hockey team because I don't have to worry about booking another event. But I don't know what's going to happen in 3 years. Are the Islanders going to stay? Are they going to go? And if they stay, how much money do I have to guarantee them? So I think that uncertainty is a little bit of a problem, too.
Now, again, a common thread, and we've talked about this on past shows, international money coming in, foreign investors, so to speak, for U.S. properties. But AC Milan would be the same thing. Is the international, the U.S. dollar versus the international market, is that hurting these guys looking for money?
I tell you, I think that's a great point that you bring, and I think it's very underreported. Nobody's really talking about it. If you look at the value of the U.S. dollar, if you're coming in and you're going to buy 49% of the Nets, you're going to obviously pay U.S. dollars. It was thought of when this sale process started that there would be huge foreign interest. Well, if I was interested in, say, buying the Nets 6 months ago, in local currency, in euros, I'd have to pay a lot more today because the dollar's gotten so much stronger. And I think that's one of the things that's causing this deal sort of to hiccup, if you will, is because people are saying, I'm going to have to actually lower my price there, Mr. Prokhorov, because the value of my currency is weaker.